Welcome back to our special healthy holiday edition of the Plus Side of Nashville. My guest is author and health and wellness coach Dyan Damron, also known as Coach D.
Yes.
So good to have you here. I've learned so much from you over the years. You always provide such tips and many things that I haven't heard of before.
Yeah.
We're talking right now, though, folks, about side dishes and some of the ways we can make some substitutions for the more high-calorie ones. And you make a really good green bean remix.
It's one of the favorites at my house every year, and everybody's used to kind of the green bean casserole with the canned soup and topped with either crackers or like you were talking about, the fried onions.
Yes, those fried onions.
So and I think really in the South a lot of times we just kill our vegetables so that they're mushy, and I like a little bit of crunch. And so basically all I've got here is just some frozen green beans that I cooked in the microwave.
So just a package of those?
Yes, just it's 2 pounds, 2 pounds of green beans. And everything that we're going to talk about today feeds 8. It makes 8 servings because we always have a large crowd for the holidays. So, and then what I did, and we were talking about this earlier, I've got some bacon here, and my tip is buy local bacon whenever possible, and I like the peppered bacon, and I get it, and I
put the camera right there,
and I freeze it. I freeze it by the pound, and then just pull it out of the freezer and use a really sharp knife, and you can cut it while it's frozen, and you can get these little, what they're called, lardons. And then you can cook them in that way, and you can easily see, because this is 4 ounces, so it would be 1/4 of a pound of the 1 pound package.
That is a great tip. Because we may not eat bacon every day. I typically don't.
And go for the real bacon. Turkey bacon usually has higher sodium levels than bacon does, and I can smell that bacon.
Oh, it smells
a little bit of bacon goes a long way,
right? It does. It does.
So when you cook these in the microwave, and then what I do is after I cook this bacon, I pull out the bacon, and in the bacon fat, I cook these green beans so that they just have a little bit of that salt and pepper flavor. And then if you want to, you can top with the bacon, and then I also have some sliced almonds, and that just adds a little bit of crunch, and I think almonds, it just adds a nice, also adds some protein, let's be honest. So,
almonds are great for the protein.
If you want to add the bacon on top, and that's just what we do, and it just makes it real pretty.
Look at that. Oops.
Here you go.
Let's put a little bit of that on there. Oh, I love this. And then that way, you know, most people would not miss a thing. If we've got these delicious green beans with some really good Tennessee bacon, or and then some almond slivers, and we're getting lots of protein on top of that.
Yes, absolutely.
And they look great. They're not overcooked.
No, and really, my family loves them, and a lot of my friends like it too. And it's not. And to me, you're not substituting. It's not. You're not trying to redo that casserole. It's just a whole other green bean dish.
Sounds delicious. Okay. Now, one of my favorite things, and definitely my husband, cranberry relish.
Yes. Well, we're used to the cranberry sauce that you plop out on the plate, and it's got the little lines from the can.
Still right out of the can.
Well, I have redone, and I do a cranberry relish, and it's not quite so sweet at all. It's very tart, and there's actually no sugar in this except for the dried cranberries. So what I do is I buy, and honestly, kind of going back to I freeze everything.
You do?
Yeah. So if you buy here pretty soon, you're going to be able to find bags of cranberries in the produce section. Buy a bunch of them, especially around Christmas time. They'll start to go on sale. Stick them in the freezer, just in the bag they come in, and save them. And I make this year round to go on sandwiches. So what I've done is I've taken frozen cranberries and added some dried cranberries. That gives it a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of texture. And then I use the zest and juice of a grapefruit instead of orange. The grapefruit just adds a little bit of an extra kind of that winter feel to it. But don't worry, if you don't like grapefruit, you can use 2 oranges.
Can you taste bits of the grapefruit in there?
You can. It adds the zest is not. I mean, you can't really see the zest or anything, but the juice, and that helps it. And then I add spicy brown mustard, and I go heavy on the mustard because it adds that. It goes back to that relish, kind of that tart and sweet flavor. And then just a little bit of salt. And what you do is you just bring it to almost a boil, and the longer you cook it, the thicker it'll get. And I like that you can have the little whole cranberries.
I do too.
But you could also use a potato masher and just mash it and add more water. And you could have it as thick or as thin as you want. And I will, a lot of times, especially if I'm going to put it on a sandwich, I'll thin it out a little bit. But I could eat that by the spoonful.
Goodness, that looks delicious. And what would be even better, the next day when you got your leftover turkey and you fix that turkey sandwich.
That's right. Put that on it. And this freezes really well too. So you can keep it in the fridge for a few weeks or freeze it for months.
Oh my goodness, that looks amazing. Now, we were talking during the commercial break about salt, because I'm really trying to stay away from salt. And I wanted to know maybe what was your recommendation between sea salt and like the regular iodized salt type?
I always use sea salt and then any type of like specialty salt to kind of add just the last minute, because you want, I salt food because I don't start with processed foods. The majority of our sodium intake comes from processed prepackaged foods.
It does.
So as long as you're starting with the unprocessed basic food, add salt, because that's what you're going to flavor it with. But
sounds good.
Another thing, instead of salt, you could also use, I was talking about the grapefruit, lemon zest or lime zest adds that same feel on your tongue. So
there's other ways to sort of add a little extra flavor to your food.
Yes.
Great tips. Okay, so we got some of our sides covered, but you've also got some great dessert ideas. So when we come back, so what would the holidays be without sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie?
That's
and
right.
you've got a great sweet potato pie recipe that you're going to share with us. So you don't want to miss that. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.